What up? What up? What up? What's going on with everybody on this Sunday? They said it was supposed to rain all day here in Northeast Ohio, but the sun done came out. Of course, I had to wipe down the car. You know, shout out to Blue Boat, shout out to Tiffany Ned, Akron Boy. Shout out to y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and play a little something until more people come through. Yeah, a little something, cut that off right there. Shout out to Sibo, Bolo, you know. That's off the Finer Chapter album. Yeah. What up with it, Bang? What up with it, Darren Hampton? Ghost Two Stacks. Big Phil, what's good with it? Hey, Bang, happy birthday, bro. You know what it do. Yeah. Happy birthday, bro, for sure, for sure. Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. You know, congratulations to LeBron, man. LeBron, he didn't get up there, man. I mean, what else do he got to do? Shout out to LeBron. He passed Malone, the mailman. Karl Malone was he was another one that I used to watch. I used to watch his games back in the early 90s and stuff. Utah Jazz, they had an RA team back then, man. Big shout out to Big Karl. What up with the LA Sports Critic? You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe. Bron is now number 2 on the NBA all-time scoring list. Let's go. You know, I gotta say, I wish we would have won last night. That would have made, this celebration, even more lit. But we didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to, LeBron. Oh, for sure, bro, all the time. What up with it, Braxton? Shout out to you. Yeah, man, but we got to touch down on some things. Shout out to Big Trey D. From the East Side, as he said, you know, he says it's time to research some documents and pull some files. You know what I'm saying? What up with it, G League? We got to pull a file. And the foul is you know, no other than too raw for TV, aka too sissy for TV. Um, there just has to be hate. Now the narrative is that it's easy to score in this era. It's easy to score in this era. But yet, I didn't hear this. I didn't hear this when Steph Curry passed Ray Allen. We didn't hear this. It's more easier to score today. I mean, really? Now that's the narrative now. Now it's easy to score. I mean, oh, the players from the 90s, they would dominate in this era. You sure about that? Because I hear a lot of you cornballs saying shit like that. I hear a lot of you cornballs out there saying shit like that. Oh, the 90s players would dominate in this era. How sway? Are we forgetting about the talent that's in this era of basketball? Are we really forgetting about that? So these NBA players now ain't shit, right? These NBA players today ain't shit, right? Oh, they don't work hard. This era of basketball, everybody wants to team up. Really? Everybody want to team up? So teaming up to win has became a problem. But it wasn't a problem when everybody teamed up to win that infamous 6-0 that y'all like to talk about. Y'all love bringing up that 6-0. Why do y'all keep bringing up that 6-0? Which is a stat. But then y'all the same ones that turn around and say stats are facts, but they don't tell the whole story. So when you mention 6-0, ain't that mentioning the stat? And wouldn't that also mean that 6-0 tells the whole story? Or doesn't? Y'all right. The stats don't tell the whole story. Just like 6-0 never told the whole story. Just like y'all Jordan fans never like to tell the whole story. Kobe fans, a lot of them never like to tell the whole story. So be careful of the statements that you put out here because it can and will be used against you. Be careful. Be careful of the shit that y'all put out here. Y'all say stats are facts, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So that would mean that Kobe's record stats don't tell the whole story. Jordan's stats don't tell the whole story. Huh? Be careful. Be careful of the shit you try to put out here to try to downplay a player. Be careful because it's fans like me that's watching. See, what y'all mad about is y'all come on this YouTube shit and you do your live streams, you do the videos. Why? Because you have a voice and you want to be heard. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? Oh, there's some new niggas around now. And oh, yes, y'all are being heard loud and clear and being debunked at the same time. Shout out to Von Knows, Immortal Highlights. Y'all not about to sit up here and give all these other NBA players they accolades, but yet when it come to giving LeBron his accolades, oh y'all want to push shit in contact. Y'all talk shit about LeBron, but y'all big up Jokic. What the fuck Jokic done did? He done took his team. See, he done took the Nuggets to the finals, huh? He done won a chip yet, huh? Because even though the Denver Nuggets are a good team, in my opinion, I used to watch them growing up. Used to watch the Nuggets play. Had got Nugget fitteds and all. Cause see, that's the type of fan I am. I'm a Cavalier fan, but I got all different types of NBA players fitted, fitted hats, hardwood classics, snapbacks. That's how I get down. But I will say, I have every damn near every team fitted or snapback or hardwood classics, but just something in me won't let me buy no Golden State Warrior shit. There's just something in me that just I can't do it. Something in me just won't do it. But back to it. What has Jokic done? What great accolades does Jokic have? Is Jokic shutting down KD? Is Jokic shutting down LeBron? Is he shutting down Dame Dollar? He shutting down Kyrie Irving? Is he shutting down uh Embiid? what great has he done? Because remember, y'all like to grade everything off of championships. Ain't that what that's about? Ain't that what that's about? What up, Kai? What up, Julia? Ain't that what y'all like to do? It's about being a champion, championships, championships, championships. And y'all talk about Jokic and he ain't got one. You hypocrites mind asking me what the fuck happened to y'all situation? What up, Dion? What up, bro? Y'all don't let Skip Bayless turn y'all into championship fanatics, but y'all would rather drag champions and make excuses for why they got their championship rings and accuse them of cheating. But you got a lone plethora of NBA players with big names that ain't got one goddamn championship, and y'all ain't got shit to say to them. I'm gonna open up the phone lines. You know what I'm saying? We need to talk about this. You got NBA players with big names never took their teams to the finals. Because see, I'm the type of fan that I feel like this. Whether you lose in the finals or you win in the finals, at least you could say you've been there. Because a lot of NBA players can't take their teams to the finals. So whether you win or lose in the finals, you still get respect from me because you got there. You got some NBA player, a lot of NBA players that ain't never got there. But yet y'all will sit up and give them the utmost respect. Like they have a Jordan record or a Kobe record or a LeBron record. I see the games that a lot of y'all play, and y'all been playing these games for quite a while now. What's up, Blue Boat, bro?
Yo, what's cracking, critic? What's cracking? What's going on, man?
Shit, chilling out, bro. Shit, the sun out down there in the yo.
Oh, you know it. It's trying anyway. And shit, you know what I mean? You know how it
Yeah,
is. Same thing, same shit, different day. You know how I go. You know
for
how I
sure,
go, bro.
for sure, bro. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro, and get at it.
Man, this is just, we saw this coming in the beginning, man. You know what I mean? Like the closer LeBron got to this record, right? The more dumber these geniuses sound. You know what I mean? They make up any excuse, to try to, it's easier to score in this era, blah, 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 but they be dick riding on the rest of these players in this era. You know what I mean? I bet you 1 cent. Take LeBron out of this situation, right? Let's say if it was Kevin Durant, right? Or Kawhi Leonard, or Steph Curry, or Giannis even, or Jokic, or Embiid breaking some kind of record. They wouldn't be making this big deal out of it. You know what I mean? They'd be jumping from nutsack to nutsack, giving them props. But when it's LeBron, it's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like I told you, man, I came up in the same era you did watching basketball, man. You know what I mean? See, 89, I kind of got into the game and shit, right? Jordan, I had favorites. I like Jordan. I like Magic. I like Bird. I like Olajuwon, Barkley, Karl Malone, all them cats from all them teams in the 90s, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
bro.
Like,
Yeah, Blue Boat. Like as a Cavaliers fan, bro. Like my dad and my uncles and they friends and shit, bro. You know, I used to sit down as a boy and watch the games with them.
right,
Even you know what I'm saying.
right,
Even with football,
right,
because bro, my Northeast Ohio, bro, my Ohio pride come from my dad and my great granddad, the late
right.
Earl Tony Waters. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like
Right,
it's Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Indians,
right,
Youngstown State Penguins, Ohio State, whatever the fuck that you know what I'm
right,
saying. That's where my
right.
Ohio pride come from. You know what
Well,
I'm
well,
saying?
right.
And
I hear
sitting up
you.
and watching all of them guys, that Grandmama, Penny Hardaway, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Chris Mullen, and all of them
Derek
dudes.
Coleman. Derek
You
Coleman.
we
Derek Coleman.
we didn't sit. My dad didn't sit down and watch just Cavaliers games. We
Right.
watched whatever games was on. We watched them that day.
Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, man. CBS, NBC, all that stuff, man. You know what I mean?
And I
Eastern
never
Conference,
heard
Eastern Conference playoffs.
and I never heard grown men sitting around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, dogging Michael
Discredit.
Jordan,
Right. Discredit everything, every accomplishment in the book. You didn't
discrediting,
hear that shit.
right, talking shit about him and different shit like that. You
Right.
know, hating on other play. I never heard those
Me
type
either,
of
man.
conversations.
Me
I
either,
never
man.
heard I never heard no black men get emotional, get
Right.
upset, calling names. None
Right.
of that shit, bro.
Right. And I tell you what, man, it's these 90s kids, man. It's our generation, man. Our generation and up, man. Like, we ain't been taught anything, man. Like, you know what I mean? We haven't been taught anything at all, man. Like you said, I didn't hear people who watched guys like Wilt Chamberlain, guys like Bill Russell, guys like Oscar Robinson, Jerry West, Walt Bellamy, man, like Nate Thurman, Rick Barry. Kareem, Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier, the guys who watched them in the past, you didn't hear them cats over here saying fuck Michael Jordan or fuck Magic Johnson, man. You
Right,
didn't hear that shit. You didn't hear
right,
that shit, man. But like,
right,
it seemed like our generation, man, you know what it is? It's the streets, man. The streets produce a lot of ego, man. You know what I mean? It's like the younger our generation becomes, the bigger the ego gets. And it's like individualism brings ego and shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of these cats out here, they've mistaken Michael Jordan for taking all the shots, taking all the credit, you know what I mean, taking all the props, you know what I mean? And it's like Scottie Pippen didn't matter to nobody. Horace
right,
Grant didn't matter to nobody. BJ
right.
Armstrong didn't matter to nobody.
But Pete Game, Blue Bow, but yet I'm supposed to give all praises and due to Kyrie Irving for helping LeBron and the Cavaliers win the championship.
You, you,
But while I'm giving Kyrie his props, I'm just supposed to say fuck Scottie Pippen in the gang and what they brought to the table
right,
for that 6-0 stat that y'all
right,
always like to bring
right.
up.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. They like saying Kyrie got that bag. It's all about style and preference, man. Niggas just need to come out and say they don't like a certain player and leave it at that. You know what I
Right,
mean? Because it's like they like a certain style and shit. You know what I mean? You ain't dribbling behind your back. You ain't doing all this fancy shit. You know what I mean? They used to get on Shaq about that. You know, Shaq is an all-time great. You know? He wasn't out here doing all this and one moves and backhand out of that bag and shit. But he's probably the third best greatest center of all time, right? So he ain't have a bag, you know? But
man,
like you
bro.
said,
Man, bro, as a Cavalier fan, bro, I remember like my handful of favorites on the, back in the 90s, Shaq, um, man, Kevin Johnson,
David
um,
Robinson.
David Robinson, um, Sam Cassell, um, man, just all of them cats, man, like
Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo Mourning
Alonzo
came in the
Mourning.
90s too.
Man, listen, bro. My family on my dad's side, they've been down in Charlotte, North Carolina since I was like 9, 10 years old, right? So
Yeah.
back in the 90s, 92, 93, when the NBA, when the league and shit period was just lit,
Big.
in my opinion.
Huge.
You know what I'm saying?
It was the early
We used to
90s.
go,
91,
yeah,
91, 92 more like it.
yeah, bro. We used to go down there to visit our family, bro. And we used to go, you know what I'm saying? We used to pull up to Alonzo Mourning house in Charlotte.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Elton John's house had a
Right.
house down there in
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte on the strip.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not ducked off or nothing on the main strip. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Those
Right.
days, bro. Like there was
Right.
never hate and stat pattern and super teams and
Right.
eye test and
And who
putting this
came in?
and that and
Right.
context. I never heard them words.
Me, you know what? Me either, man. But who brought them words into this shit?
Skip,
Fucking
skip.
Stephen A. Smith, and yeah, him, and Mr. See now, Mr. Pooh Face Irrelevant motherfucker. Him too. Them the ones that brought that shit
Yo,
into
what's
the
up?
media, man.
Yeah,
You
facts.
know?
Hey,
Yeah,
I
with
think
a shout out to South for coming through for show, bro. MLE, talking and grubbing. All right, little homie, go ahead and get at it.
I think I found Nola Boy. Share my screen real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna share my screen. Shit, hold on.
Hey, yo, this kid Trunks.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what up, man? Hey, I wanna, if you ain't heard, I wanna apologize for the last stream me and Critic did, man. You know what I mean? You didn't
No,
deserve that, bro. You
it's
know what I mean?
cool.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I said some things like calling you a phony. That was uncalled for, man. See, I'm not like the rest of these clowns here on YouTube, man. You know what I mean? So I hope, man, long story short, we can make this good again, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just, we all here for the same cause.
No, it's cool. It's the internet, bro. It don't really matter. It's all good.
Right, right. But at the end of the day, I'm supposed to respect you as a man, whatever your opinion is. So for me, if I came off as an a-hole, I apologize for that, bro.
Yeah. My problem was like you just trying to put me in this light, saying like I was agreeing with everything Prince was saying. I wasn't agreeing with
Right,
everything he was
right,
saying.
right. And I was saying, like, I didn't hear the video like all the way through. I didn't understand the meaning, the context of it. You know what I mean? That the mistake I made was lumping you with the rest of them clowns, and I should have
Yeah,
did that.
yeah, facts. Hey, take me off the big screen. Take me off the big screen real quick.
No, I got you. What up with it, Tassidi?
Hey, hey, guys, salute.
What up with
Salute.
it, bro? What up with it,
What
Ghost?
going on? What going on? What going on?
Brother.
I'm a new subscriber. I come here to tell you, deals, you and Bang and you guys, man. It's a good thing we have you guys around because these dudes out here, these dudes all it is be doing is just pushing a bunch of fake narratives about LeBron and shit that ain't true and thing. And I don't even know Too Raw for TV and Casino for Life and these bitch ass dudes out there and thing. I don't even know how did these man song. I don't even listen to them, man. You check? But these dudes, they just act like they didn't have a father growing up. Like they didn't have a father in their house and thing. Like yeah, that's how they act. That's how they just move. Just like a bunch of women on the internet and thing. You check? And it's
Yeah,
like and all of this, they're doing all of that shit for one dude, and that's Michael Jordan. They're trying to do every single thing in their power, just trying to push down LeBron to make their favorites look great and thing. And
facts.
they'll talk about all errors and like the basketball era, but the only reason why they're trying to pump up their era is because that's the era Michael Jordan played in. You check? So
Facts.
I mean, these dudes, man, like that's why I salute you and Bang, guys like Bang, you, Lamont and thing. It's a good thing we have dudes like and even Blue Bolt, Blue Bolt and thing. I want to salute you and thing because you
Oh,
just be
salute to you
supporting,
too. Thanks, I
yeah,
appreciate it. I
yeah, you
appreciate
just
it.
be supporting. I just see you everywhere. You just support every platform that supports LeBron and thing. It's a good thing we have guys like you. And you have a channel, Blue Boat.
Yeah, yeah, I got a channel, man. Just you hit the subscribe button, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You just
what's
click
what's
this
what's
stuff.
what
Hey, Blue
what's
Boy,
the
put your link to your channel in the private chat for bro. You know what
all
I'm
right?
saying?
Okay,
You know,
okay, I'll
Hey,
do
definitely
that. I'll
appreciate
do
you
that.
Do
too,
that,
I'll
do
Stacks,
do
that.
that.
man.
I'll do that.
hey,
You know, Two Stacks, you definitely own to something. See, I'm gonna tell you something, Two Stacks. Like niggas like me and Bang and FYF. Shout out to FYF and shout out to Goat Mike and man Blue Boat. Niggas like us, LA Sports Live. Niggas like us, we wasn't supposed to come around Two Stacks. There was only supposed to be the niggas that was on here already, who was reigning supreme with they daddy Skip Bayless bullshit talking point. Because a lot of these dudes with these opinions, we're all the same. I'm 42. No, I'm 40, 41. I ain't gonna put an extra a year on myself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm 41, born in 81. Like when we was watching dudes my age and a little bit older, and I'm gonna say a couple years younger than me, we was all watching the game. We played a little backyard basketball. You know what I'm saying? We a lot of dudes ain't never played no high school basketball, college
college.
basketball to know what it really takes. They're only talking from White Daddy Skip Bayless talking points. That's what a lot of these dudes. That's all they have. Every time they come up with this debate or something like that, they all
my
say
fault. Go ahead,
the
bro.
same shit. You can guarantee anybody that you ask who don't like LeBron, I guarantee you will not hear a different reason for a different reason of why they don't like LeBron. It's
Facts.
all the same shit, regurgitated over and over and over
I,
and over.
hey, hey, yo, is this my other account? This is me, Trunks. Hey, shit, put me on the big screen for this account.
You know what I'm saying?
I got.
Skip Bayless, he gave a lot of these dudes on YouTube, he gave them life.
And you know, it was Skip Bayless, not only him, but this cracker named Bruce Blitz. This cracker named Bruce Blitz. If I don't know if anybody heard of him, this guy walks around like he black and everything, like he a tough guy. But yet, if you say any type of opinion that goes against his, he'll disrespect you, call you out your name and shit. Like, look, motherfucker, man, you barking up the wrong tree. Just because I don't share your opinion, you ain't gotta be barking up my tree. But in the chat, if y'all remember Bruce Blitz punk ass, press 1. Because he started all this shit too, along with Skip Bayless.
Hey, I'm about to. Hey, I found Nola Boy. I found James.
You found Nola Boy.
Yo, shout out to Humble Soul for coming through. Weebay, what's up, bro? Ms. Moolah, what's up with
I
it?
found James. I found Nola Boy. He like 4 foot nothing. He would say he 5'7" shit.
Go ahead, Blue Boat.
Ain't that James right there?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, like, it's crazy, man. Crazy how this shit is, man. You know what I mean? How they just like make up shit as they go, and like make up phony shit, like just to diminish this dude, man. And it's crazy, man. Like how that is, and it's been going on for years, man. It's not only these clowns on YouTube, but clowns in the media too. Certain clowns in the media, they act like everybody in the media is for LeBron. I guess, you know, I mean, they try to ignore guys like Rob Parker, guys like Doug Gottlieb, guys like Rick Bucher's Peckerwood ass. Who else? Goddamn Nick Friedel from Chicago and all them dudes. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy, man, like how that shit is, man. But we shouldn't be surprised by this shit. We knew what was going to happen once he broke this record. We knew what was going to happen. We knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, man. They say, they talk about LeBron, stat pattern. Okay, so did Jordan stat pat to get his good records that LeBron passed? Did Kobe stat pat to get his good records?
And the crazy part about it is, like, the last 4 years.
Did Will Chamberlain stat pat? Did Kareem stat pat?
Right. Right. And the crazy part about it is, Kobe, them last 4 years, the Lakers were garbage. Them last 4 years, the Lakers were garbage, man. Yeah, my computer is my phone is fucking up. I'm gonna be right back.
All right, for sure. Yeah, Ghost. You know what I'm saying? You know this stat pattern bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm back.
it's
I'm
like
back. I'm good.
it's like they want him to stay. They want LeBron to stay on the court and don't do nothing. You know, like how you could stat pad. Your job is to score. Yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Your job is to score, your job is to pass the ball, your job is to defend and thing like I never gonna understand that argument and thing. Oh, he's stat padding. How you could stat pad? You feel me? Like these dudes they're not making any sense, Dread. Like, but like I said, the man is like they was raised like with only women in the house, Dread.
But here's the thing though, man, like, was David Robinson stat pad the last day of the regular season in 1994 where him and Shaq was going for the scoring record? Y'all remember that game? You remember that game, right?
Yeah.
You remember that game? Remember that game where last game of the season, playoff is just wrapped up, right? David Robinson out there, he didn't have no kind of incentive to stay out there and play. But he said, you know what?
Hey,
I'm
hold
going for
on.
that
Hey, hold on.
so-and-so.
Hey, y'all, look, look
Oh,
what I
yeah.
just put on the screen, y'all. He is a
Oh,
stat
yeah, I
pattern.
seen that shit.
Look at this dude.
I seen that shit.
You know, look at his avatar. He got a chip. He won. He took anybody to the finals. Number 11. What number 11 do? What has number 11 ever did? That was so
That's crazy.
spectacular.
Hey, critic, I'm convinced that dude ain't himself a true Luka Doncic fan. These niggas that's be coming around here, these dudes are like Kobe stands and Jordan stands. These dudes that be saying, "Oh, LeBron is a
And you
stat
know what's
pattern."
funny? And you know what's funny? You know what's funny? They try to put Kobe in the same conversation with Jordan, with LeBron and Jordan. Don't get me wrong. Kobe's an all-time great. I got nothing but the respect in the world for Kobe. But
Yeah,
there's a levels to this shit. You know what I mean? There's levels to this. And you can't blame LeBron for coming to the league gifted, just like you can't blame Michael Jordan coming to the league gifted. Mike came to the league gifted. But it's
yeah,
like,
fact.
all this shit should have been put to bed when what we saw in the All-Star weekend, that 75 greatest players shit. When Mike acknowledged LeBron and LeBron acknowledged Mike. That should have deaded that shit right there. Like, hey, it's all about greatness at the end of the day, from one generation to the next. But no,
Facts,
you got these clowns, out here trying to instigate. That's what they're doing. They're trying to instigate. Oh, he said, she said. Just like these clowns to the media, they like to instigate too.
Yeah. So
facts.
I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what has number 11 done. You know,
Right,
Mr. Joe Mary. You know what I'm
right,
saying? What
right.
has number 11 done? What
Yeah,
has number 11
yeah.
done?
He lost to
Huh?
the
What has
Clippers.
number
He lost to
11
the
done?
Clippers. He lost to the Clippers 2 years in a row when he should have beat them. If you ask me, he should have beat the Clippers. If you
Yeah.
ask me, last year.
What's going on with y'all
Yeah.
guys?
What has Luca done? You come in here. See, this wasn't. See, you're right. This wasn't about Luca. But when you come in here and you accuse the man that we're talking about of stat pattern, and you have Luca as your avatar, somebody's going to ask you, what has Luca done? He has done nothing. He ain't took the team to the finals. Nothing. Go ahead, bro. What's up with it, Anti? What's good?
What's going on? This I don't know if you're talking in the chat. Pretty this South just came in.
Yeah, I know it's South, bro.
Okay, I met you to friend me, but appreciate you letting me come up on the panel, man. It's funny. As soon as I got on the panel, Blue Bolt kind of sparked something in my head and made me think about something. You know, one of the other big problems about this situation is a lot of these, a lot of our past icons like the Jordans, the Magics, and other icons of the past, they need to come forward and address this situation with LeBron because how can you have we we watched what 5 6 years ago the league praised Kobe, which rightfully they should have done for what he done for the game. His last 2 years, when we know he was probably a half of himself, you know, they acknowledged that he was a great player. He was toward the end, and no matter, even though he could barely get, he was a shell of himself. People appreciated what he done to the game. And nobody said he was that pattern because he wasn't even playing at a high level. Nobody said he was that pattern, sitting there averaging under 20 points a game, shooting under 40% from the field, but he out there to pass, to pass Jordan. Nobody said that. Nobody said it was longevity. He only done all this because he played 20 years. It's like all that was absolute, I guess, because he played for one team, which I don't get that logic because Jordan didn't play for one team. Nobody said Jordan, when he came back and played for the Wizards, oh, he coming back to stat pad so he could try to pass some people in all time scoring. Like, none of these arguments were brought up at at any point. None of them. So all of a sudden, you come to a player like LeBron, who's he's still playing at a higher level than these guys at the age of 37. But still, people try to find some kind of myth to make up of why you should ignore how great he's playing at the age he's playing, which we've never seen any athlete playing at this level in the game of basketball in his 19th season. So, and I said this on Bang Channel, like people that hate LeBron, they always try to find stuff to talk about that they know. Number one, LeBron can't control because everything that pretty much LeBron has been able to control in his career, he's been good at doing it. So you want to talk about things that he really don't have no control over, like who his teammates are. Does he have influence on it? Yes, but not control. It's two different things. But the haters will try to make it seem like he has control over every little thing around him. Once they
Facts,
can get
facts.
you to believe into that, now you might buy into a lot of this foolish narratives that go around. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I had to say.
Hey yo, shout out to Lakers in six. What up, bro? Shout out to Sub Zero. What up with the MLE? Go ahead and cook, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know where this little shit come from. Like stat pad and something wrong. When every player in NBA history stat pad, players still every player stat pad now. Like even down to the niggas on the bench. When they get in garbage minutes, first thing them players be trying to do is get in the books. They try and score just to get in the books. That's stat pad. Like even Shaq said he used to purposely miss layups just to tap it off the backboard a couple times, get his rebounds up. Jordan, you can Google this shit. It's an article. It's Jordan own words. He used to go back to the table. He used to check his stats. He was trying to get an MVP that year. They'd tell him you need X amount rebounds, X amount assists to get a triple double. And then he go out there and get it. And then his words was, if they don't believe that I'm a complete player now, they'll never believe it. That was stat pad. I even got video that showed Kobe in garbage time still out there trying to score to get a 50-point game in a loss. That's stat pad. Kobe even said when he dropped 81, said the coach told me for us to win tonight, I'm going to have to go get 81 points. All that shit is stat pad. And every player in NBA history stat pads. It's basketball. That's what the fuck? It don't make sense. But they done spent the shit now to try to make it look like something bad to down one player. And when the player that they like does it, it's a great achievement. It don't make sense. So when did it become something bad when every player in NBA history done it?
Is there any sources out there of LeBron premeditatedly doing any of this?
What'd you say?
Is there any sources you know about of LeBron like premeditatedly trying to get a certain stat to get some in a certain game? I'm just asking you because you kind of brought up some stuff that I learned.
No, I'm saying like I'm pretty sure it is if you go research it, but it's basketball. Like it's NBA basketball. They playing at the highest level. Like you think contracts got incentives. Like you got to get a
Yeah.
certain amount of points or take a certain amount of shots and make a certain amount of shots to get a bonus inside your contract. That's inside the contract that you signed the incentive. He might got a scoring incentive or a rebound incentive. So he got to go get a certain amount of rebounds to average. And if he don't, like the coach would be petty knowing that he got that contract and for him not to make that bonus, they can sit him down and he don't play another 10 minutes and don't reach his incentive. Or they let him go out there and finish the shit and reach his incentive. But it's
Yeah,
stat pad.
we definitely hear a lot about that in football because football contracts are they're not as guaranteed. So when
Right.
that issue comes up to you, it'll get out in the news because of the structure of NFL contracts. I think you even heard it with AB situation this
Yeah.
past year.
But that's the thing I'm saying. Like every player does it. Every player already did it. That's in NBA history. It's not like it's something hidden or it's a secret. Everybody does it. and you could hear from their own words that they did it. So why it's bad when one player now does it or doing it when everybody else did it and it wasn't nothing bad back then? It's only bad now because that's the narratives people try to make. Oh, he just stat padding. Okay, name me a great player that didn't. Name me a player that don't.
You know what? I would say a lot of people that had this criticism would be fair in their own on their own premise if they made the same argument against Jordan. Look at all the players that came before Jordan. It was a lot of things that you know in the 60s, 50s, 60s and 70s that players wasn't allowed to do, like dunking, a lot of stuff, dunking the basketball,
Right.
different stuff that they wouldn't allow Wilk to do that, you know, the Jordans and the other people that come in the 80s and 90s were allowed to do. Dr. J's, the all that. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? When I remember Will had an interview complaining about that. Nobody cared, right? Because Jordan was the centerpiece of basketball. Nobody cared about the disadvantages other greats had that Jordan had. Why they
Right.
don't do that? If they,
What?
I would respect they premise if they done that, but no, they don't. All this goes to LeBron. LeBron got everything that
See,
other
that was Wilt's message to Jordan before he died. He said they made rules to stop me and created rules to help you. So who's greater? And
yeah.
that's some real shit.
Bill Russell didn't get a chance. I mean, when nobody buying into Bill Russell saying I had to play in the '60s when it was civil rights and all this and win in a town like Boston in the '60s. Nobody
Right.
cared about that.
You already know how Boston was back then. He like
Nobody cared.
basically the face of that team. But if somebody was to Google this shit, it's the time that MJ was running point guard. Very few times that he was playing the point guard position.
Yeah,
The players around him, they even scored more when he was playing point guard, and he was had to do everything like in a
yeah.
LeBron position type situation.
The '87 year was a main year. I was talking about this a couple of days ago.
I think
The
Bill caught right.
'87 year was more
Everybody
of a
averaged
year
more than him.
like he had to play like where he played similar to what LeBron did, where he had to pretty much carry all of primary scorer, facilitator. That's why he had those gaudy numbers like he had that year 32, 8 and 8.
Right.
He was 32,
He
8 and
ain't
8.
like that shit.
Yeah. And that's
That's
been
why
pretty
they
much
put him
that
back
year
in
was
that
like
system.
that year is like LeBron's whole career. He's played that role.
Right. And that's why I say like that year you Google the article, he's saying out his own words he was that bad. He said every game he checked his stats and think what he was lacking and had to go out there and fix it or add more to it. So that's by everybody who called him the GOAT. Your own GOAT saying it out his own mouth. Everybody called Kobe the GOAT. Your own GOAT saying it out his mouth. That they were stat pad. So why is it wrong now when y'all applaud it back then? That's why I say
Fact, bro.
it's only being looked at bad because it's a player that people don't like doing it.
Yeah, and sometimes Jordan, I think he makes this shit worse sometimes. Jordan definitely do, because he say little stuff or people go back to things he said where he said he don't play for stats and he Jordan can be disingenuous. That's the problem. He can be disingenuous about stuff because we know you weren't playing for no championships with the Wizards because we know that team wasn't good. So what were you playing for?
He tried, he just couldn't make a trade that he wanted to happen. That's
Yeah.
why he's mad at Kwame.
And no,
But
a lot of those Wizards teammates couldn't stand Jordan. Stackhouse talked about it.
mm-hmm.
Gilbert Arenas, we know he done said something about it. Like it's fine, it's cool. Jordan can always be in the go conversation, but people think I'm bringing this up to try to diminish Jordan. No, it's just
You
Jordan.
just providing facts. It ain't
Yeah,
diminishing
it's
nobody, just
you,
facts.
them the people that you know when you start bringing facts like this, they be like Jordan still to go. Yeah, he can still be in the go conversation. I never said that. It's just a lot of this stuff you keep trying to point and say LeBron is this and that. The Jordan has put himself in those same positions to make you wonder, like, well, what were you doing with the Wizards?
Well, check
That
this
time.
out.
It's a
I want to follow up. I want to follow what y'all said, man. Like they always say, it's all about context, right? but they ignore context as to when it comes to the finals and shit, right? Jordan had like one game winning shot in the finals, one game winning shot to clinch the championship. The other two, who made those shots?
Paxson hit one.
Yeah,
Kerr hit one.
yeah,
Steve Kerr won. Yeah.
Pippen hit
yeah,
one.
yeah. But they act like Jordan was making all the shots all the time and didn't play the facilitator role. See, that's how you know cats don't know how to. You got a lot of casuals that don't know the game, man. You know what I mean?
And then you got the time. Well, it was a couple series, not just
Right,
one. I'm only speaking about the one when Jordan
right,
went 3 for 19, and Pippen had to
right.
carry the game and get them the victory.
Exactly, man. And I could come up with I could show you. I could come up with a whole handful of video as to where Jordan playing the facilitator role, passing to Pippen for a game-winning shot, game-winning layup, game in Sacramento and shit. Double team Jordan, Pippen cutting to the hole, Pippen doing a pick and roll. He cut to the hole, he made a game-winning layup. They leave that shit out. You
I
know,
got a video.
they always leave that shit out.
Jordan playing against Bird, he missed 4 clutch shots.
Hey, this the camera to break the back for me though. Out of all the quote unquote dynasty teams in the era, the Bulls is the only dynasty where they stay unexponentially healthy. They never suffered major injury from that
Right,
91 to 98.
right,
They never got in the
right.
playoffs.
You're right.
A key starter, a
Well,
key player got injured.
they
You can go
had
to
they had
any
a
other
minor
team and they dealt with that.
they had a minor injury with Scottie Pippen, but that in his back, but that was just like one game and shit. Other than that, yeah, you're right. You're right. They didn't have no injury like to where
You
it
look,
affected the team and shit.
yeah, to where it stopped one of their runs. They never dealt with
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah,
They
I
were
don't try to
mostly
diminish
healthy,
no
man.
players.
And
I
see
don't know
the
why people do that shit. You shouldn't try to diminish none that somebody did
Right,
accomplish and work
right,
for.
right,
Like, I
right.
don't get
Hey,
on
I'm gonna
Jordan
ask
for the
you a
shit that he
question,
done or didn't do.
MLE. But first, I got to say shout out to Fridge, GTM. Who else then came through that I didn't get to see soon as they came? Clan leader, um, 9196 neighborhood. It was somebody else in here too that I seen. I just like to shout out everybody that come through, and come kick it with us, 1980s Gator Boy was going down. So what I want to ask you, MLE, is you know how they say it was so hard in the 90s?
Yeah.
How was it so hard in the 90s
It
with
wasn't.
expansion teams?
They don't. A lot of them didn't even pay attention to what the fuck was going on. They just paid attention to the Bulls. They ain't pay attention to the whole league or anything. Social media wasn't around, and people
Right,
wasn't really doing a lot of research on shit. Like, yeah, it was a lot of expansion teams, and when they be bringing up, oh, they won 66 games and this, that, and the third, you got to remember they playing against these same expansion teams too, who's it's their first year. They got a terrible team. Like, all that comes into play, but I don't down it. It's part of the game. That's what they had to play. They beat them. You know what I mean, it is what it is. But to say that that's the toughest ever, that's cat. And
yeah, I
then
think
it's
this
way more athletic and skilled players than it ever was in the 90s. Like, you got bums. Like, I ain't gonna say they bums, but average at best players that's on the bench that could jump out the fucking gym. You didn't have a lot of that back then. You didn't have a
Yeah,
lot of
I
big men
realize a
who
lot
could
of
put the ball on the floor, dribble and pass, shoot a three, and still back you in
facts,
and
facts,
do what big men
facts.
do back then. It wasn't none of that back then. It was
A lot
very
of
few
dudes.
centers who did it.
this actually Lamont brought this up on the 90s, and it's really without you even have to make a lot of major points. If you look at a lot of the playoff teams, most of the playoff teams had maybe 2 All-Stars. And then even to go even further, the average team that made it to the final might have had definitely 2 All-Stars, but out of a
Or
lot
three
of those
All NBA
teams,
players.
hold on, out of those three, out of all those teams that win the finals, most of them might have had less than 2 Hall of Famers, especially the teams that the Bulls played against. Outside of the outside of Utah, all those teams he competed with, on those teams at that given time, they only had maybe one, rarely 2 Hall of Famers at this point. After 20 years removed, to look in hindsight, like, so how great are these teams? We talk about great teams. You talk about teams that easily have 3, maybe even 4 All-Stars, 2 to 3 Hall of Famers on those teams. But that doesn't exist in the 90s, other than outside of the Bulls, and then the 2 that the Utah had.
A handful.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That
And
tells a
Yeah,
lot.
bro, because P game real quick. See, you know, that's like Giannis. You know, shout out to Giannis,
that's my
for
guy.
getting the chip. But when niggas want to talk about he got it the right way and all this other dumbass type of shit, in my opinion, it's like, yo, y'all talking about cuz and no super teams and all this and that. Okay, well, since y'all like to put shit in context, well, let's put this in it then. Let's not forget, a lot of injuries had happened. And in my opinion, Giannis and them, they just took advantage of the situation. And I ain't mad at them. Somebody had to win the chip.
Shit, that's
That,
basketball. Injuries.
you
Injuries
know what I'm
part of
saying?
it.
That's how I look
Injuries.
at it. You know what I'm saying? He won. Somebody had to win. A lot
Right.
of players was injured on different teams and shit like that. So
Critic, you
they
gotta
they
remember
took
he got injured too. So you can't even use that
yeah
on him.
See, this the
yeah.
Right.
thing
You
about
know what
Right.
I'm
He got
saying?
hurt too. He missed it like half a series and shit.
yeah, he missed some
Yeah.
time too. But this the thing I don't understand when people say that. Oh, do people judge players off intent? Because y'all forget when he said he wanted to play with LeBron or even KD, and he don't care if he the third guy on the team or he don't need to be the leader. He just want to play with one of those great players. He want them to come down there and help him win a chip. Y'all
They,
remember he said
they,
that?
they can't judge players off intent though, MLE.
And look, it shit happened to pan out for him, and he didn't need that, but that's what he wanted. He was aiming to do it. Like that's my favorite player, but you can't say, oh, he did it the right way, this, that, the third. It just happened to fall his way. He was trying to do it.
But
Same way when
but
I
what
said
it
like
what it
Kobe tried to get traded twice, MJ tried to get traded. Shit panned out that they didn't
right,
have to,
right.
but their
And
intent was to do it.
not only that, they had premier front offices too, where they knew what the hell they were doing. Right? They
Right.
always say, Kobe, Mike, blah blah blah. Tim Duncan stood 10 toes down. They talk about context and shit, right? But they have never mentioned the fact that those teams, the Lakers did, but not now, drafted well and shit, right? They drafted well. They drafted every prospect. Every prospect they studied from A to Z. They didn't leave no stones unturned and shit. You know what I mean? They're not gonna mention the fact that Jerry West gave Jerry West bailed out the Lakers back in 2008 when he basically gifted him Pau Gasol for Andrew Bynum and a bunch of peanuts and shit. They don't mention that. They don't
And
mention
Kwame
that.
Brown.
They don't mention that shit at all, man. They don't mention the fact that prior to that, Kobe was trying to get Jason Kidd and Kevin Garnett to the Lakers in
Chris Paul.
2006.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul
No,
was
that was
later on.
2000.
No, I
That was
I know it was later on, but it still was attempted.
Yeah.
right. I'm just saying, like, prior to Chris Paul getting there, right?
Yeah,
He
you talking
asked
about
to
he traded
trade. He asked
Marcus
for a
Paul.
trade. He
That
traded. He
acquisition,
had Kobe asked for a trade in 2007, going on Stephen A. Smith's show and saying, "Man, if shit don't change, I'm trying to get the hell up out of here.
He was ready to go to
And
the
that's just the
Clippers.
way it is. Right.
See,
It
that
was
answers your question.
either the Clippers, it was the Clippers or the Bulls.
Chicago.
But he wanted to get traded. But yet they act like you lying, you making shit up. But yet we supposed to take their word for bond and shit. Talking about LeBron stacking the deck. LeBron is collusion. And the funny thing about that shit is how the hell you gonna collude when Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh were already in Miami? What sense did that make? When did these motherfuckers be making shit up
Wade
out the
was ready
air,
to leave.
man? Right.
Only reason why they didn't go to Chicago because Bosh wanted to play with him, and they couldn't work the money out if they all went to Chicago along with Derrick Rose. That's why they stayed in Miami.
Right.
And it's
So how the hell?
from these old niggas' words. That's why I don't see why people be saying the shit they be saying. Like you could easily go listen to the niggas say it.
Hey,
Out their own mouth.
MLE. But guess what, bro? But guess what? You know, it was okay. You know, it was okay for Kobe to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Wasn't nobody screaming out loyalty and you know Kobe's
Doing
turning
it the
his
right
back,
way,
doing it
10
the
toes
right
down.
way. Right.
And here's the thing.
Right.
Here's the killing part. A lot, and I admit I was one of these people. A lot of Jordan fans couldn't stand Kobe. They hated Kobe because they seen Kobe as a threat.
Right.
Back in 2009, 2010, when they had that conversation, who's better? Yeah. Back in 2009, 2010, when they're having that conversation, who was greater, Mike or Kobe? Jordan fans couldn't stand Kobe fans.
And
Jordan fans couldn't stand Kobe.
And for all y'all out there with that super team bullshit with Miami, y'all never talk that shit to Dwayne Wade because it was his team. But go ahead, Blue Bow.
But I was saying, like, a lot of these Mike fans, MJ, Jordan fans, they hated Kobe. They hated Kobe fans. I'm telling you, man. Like, LeBron was like an afterthought. And they would use LeBron, they used to prop up LeBron to diminish Kobe. See, now have y'all noticed the pattern? When LeBron started winning championships, first, then they started they started hating LeBron because LeBron started to get that, adulation and shit, right? They started hating LeBron.
Yeah, and those same Jordan fans, they start using Kobe now. They start putting Kobe against LeBron and thing. But these were the same dudes, yeah. And these are the same dudes that was hating on Kobe and thing.
They mad Kobe ain't in the conversation no more. And then they talk about super team, right? They only try to diminish these other dudes in their teams because Kobe shit failed.
Right.
When we had 4 All-Stars, I think that's when he got hurt with that shit. He ran Howard out of LA.
Don't forget Malone and Gary Payton.
Yeah.
And Shaq.
Kobe had a bunch of super teams, but what I'm saying is the last one, the most recent one that failed, starting that year, we had 4 All-Stars.
They started off 1-10.
Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, and Dwight.
Howard and Kobe.
Yeah. Right.
They lost 10 straight games. They lost their first 10 games.
But I'm saying though, like, Jordan fans used to hate Kobe and Kobe fans, but now it's like they try to rewrite history acting like that shit didn't happen. That's the killer part.
To me, since I've been watching sports, I think a lot of them try to say LeBron been handed all this stuff. But I felt like Kobe was as a teenager who wasn't even starting for his team because he was so popular. He was allowed to play in the All-Star game.
Right.
And that was really handed to him because of his popularity. But he hadn't proved nothing in the league yet. Yeah. Like, he the only player I've seen do that for.
He was a bench player, 6 man that started in the All-Star game. That was unheard of back then. Antisocial. Telling you, man, that was unheard of back then. But they act like that shit didn't happen either.
How they
Anti,
hand him something, but
I
he
sound
had to
like
leave
anti.
to get what he got now? That don't make sense. That they be contradicting themselves.
Yeah, they always contradict themselves, man.
I did South Blue Boat. I don't know if you were talking to me or you were talking in the chat. I'm
No,
just trying to.
I was talking to Sal, talking to you, Sal. But I
Oh,
was
you tell
saying
me
like nobody.
anti-social. I ain't anti. I'm South political.
What'd you say?
I'm South political. I ain't anti-social.
South Political.
Yeah.
Yeah, South Political. My fault. Y'all names sound alike a little bit and shit, but
Oh, okay.
South Political. I was just saying like Kobe was a 6-man bench on the bench starting in the All-Star game. That was unheard of back then.
Yeah. All off the presumption that he would be as great as all off presumptions. I watched Grant Hill come out because Grant Hill one of my favorite players to play. I watched Grant Hill come out and be a dog from day one, you know, and he earned being an all-star. You know what I'm saying? Coming
Right,
in the league.
right. Grant, I like Grant Hill too.
Yeah,
I
Grant
used to
Hill
like
was
Grant Hill
20.
too.
Shit.
He
Yeah,
was 27-7 his first year, like 27-6. He's out the gate, all-star, first rookie all-star league vote. You know what I'm saying? Then the next year I seen Kobe coming. Kobe came in the league, and then his second year he in the all-star. Because at that time I was still a big Grant Hill fan, and I used to watch all my friends. I was still in I was in middle school, but about 98, 99, I was in high school, and I watched all people just, flocking to Kobe. I was like, yeah, he got a lot of potential, but he ain't proved nothing yet. But people were just on him. I'm like, man, this dude got to prove something just like anybody else. And then that's when I noticed it wasn't I took a affinity. I didn't have an affinity against him. It was really toward the people who, they were already displacing this dude somewhere. It was like everything was going off where everybody want him to be versus what he's actually done. And I was like, he ain't ready for that. Maybe one day, but he ain't ready for that.
Yeah, he worked hard and earned it though.
Yeah, he definitely became probably more than what most most people who were just more on the fence about him did than his fans. But he definitely didn't, still a lot of his fans just, they had this unrealistic place of where they put him in the all-time greats. We see that happen so much. And the worst thing is people can't be objective. It's like what we say, all the stuff that LeBron has been able to execute, a lot of it Kobe wasn't able to do, but he did definitely have the intent of doing a lot of those things.
Right.
Just because he wasn't able to execute him because he wasn't as good of a player as LeBron and could leverage as more as LeBron, and the league evolved to where a lot of nuance and different things players were able to do, doesn't mean he didn't have the same mentality in a lot of different ways than LeBron or other players of the past. Was Wilt Chamberlain? Wilt Chamberlain forced his way out of Philly when Kareem forced his way out of Milwaukee. What was that? What was that about?
Barkley.
That was 30 plus years before you even had a LeBron.
Charles Barkley forced his way team to team.
Yeah. What was that? So I don't get. It's like these people, they have selective memory, or they just don't really know what's transpired in the history of basketball,
Moses Malone
or
went
they
to play
care
with
not to
Dr.
know.
J and got his ring.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Like it's all throughout NBA history, but they ignore history.
Yeah, they ignore history very good. And the narrative I hate, why I hate what like they just always bring up this argument that LeBron James was never a killer. Y'all believe that?
I don't know.
You guys, because I remember in 2012 in the Eastern Conference Finals and thing when the Celtics was up 3-2 against the Miami Heat. LeBron James come and he dropped 45. Y'all see how this man was in that game, boy? This man was like he was it's like he was possessed, boy. The man dropped 45 points and I remember those days there what he named Dwayne Wade, he was struggling with knee injuries and Bosh, he just came out from an injury and he had only scored like 8 points in that game and Dwayne Wade had scored 17 points. I mean, if
Yeah,
it
I remember
wasn't for
this.
if it wasn't for that LeBron, the Heat, if it wasn't for LeBron, the Heats probably would have lost.
Like it's no facts to support that narrative. That's the crazy part about it. Because if you look at, like you just said, you just broke down that game. Is plenty of other games and series and stats that go against that whole narrative.
Exactly.
It's facts and proof that the man got more killer instinct than Kobe. So I don't see why people keep saying that. Look at
He,
Kobe in his game sevens and look at his percentages in the clutch. It's lower than LeBron's.
see, this was crazy, MLE. These people that hate LeBron have allowed to really flip the flip the objectiveness of what it is to be a great player. They talk around all of it. They say to be a great player, you got to play for one team, or do certain things that have nothing to do. What makes you a great player is not what's around you, is what you contribute to what's around you. And see, it's no true argument for pretty much too many players in history that you can make the argument that they contributed more to their team than LeBron. It's only maybe a couple of other people you can, and Kobe's definitely not one of them. So you have to go and talk about all this other stuff, like he did it the right way. He played. He switched teams because all this stuff. It don't matter what you done. It don't matter how many teams you play for. It comes down to what was your contribution to the team. That's what makes you great. You know what I'm saying?
And for other players who switch teams or anything like that, they're like, oh, he was old, or it's a bunch of excuses when the other players do it. And there's other players who's done it throughout NBA history, but nobody say they're not great. I don't even know where that shit comes from, is staying with the same team. Like, it's the NBA. You play for whoever the fuck you want to play for. You got that right. I don't understand that shit. Especially if you with an organization that you're not comfortable with, or they not doing enough for you. Look at Damian Lillard. How many people think he should get the fuck out of there? He should
Yeah,
go. But
yeah,
what they want him to do, stay there and just waste his years, waste his career. So they could talk about him later on and be like, oh, he ain't do shit. He
yeah,
ain't do shit because he ain't had the right organization pushing it.
yeah. And
People,
you,
that's why I don't like when people give one man too many titles. Like, he the GM, he the coach, he even the players on the floor, he the development coach, all that shit. Like, bro, the man do one thing. Yeah, he got an influence on shit, but he not pushing the button and signing, making people sign contracts. And what the fuck? Y'all
like
giving this
how
man too much credit.
think about going into this year. I was saying this in off season, because they were already pumping up the narrative. This is a super team, right? That's being assembled this past summer with the Lakers. I'm like,
Yeah,
I've never heard of a team being a super team, and you signing all these people in free agency at 1 year deals, minimum contract, like players players that are playing at a high level and play. They're not taking no 1 year or no minimum league minimum contracts. Like it's just like in order to get people to distract people and make them think that you making sense about hating LeBron, you already got to set an unrealistic premise. You see what I'm saying?
right.
Shit, like how is this a super team? They got old players. They got old veteran
It's the
players on
oldest
league
team in the
minimum.
league.
And you want to say they super team because of what the players used to be. Not what they now. Melo, if Melo was the Melo 6, 7 years ago, he wouldn't be on the Lakers teams playing for no veteran minimum.
Melo was
Trust
just out
me.
the league.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It
facts,
just
facts.
don't make sense at all.
Dwight Howard been getting passed around like a fucking hot potato.
Yeah, you
And then
know,
he was on a non-guarantee. Nobody wanted him.
and the fact that the second year LeBron was there and they were able to win a chip has really allowed people to know the fact that the Lakers has still been a bad franchise even with the arrival of LeBron. So that's got put in the back burner a little bit because of the fact LeBron is there. because one of I think the thing that makes LeBron so great is a lot of the situations that he's put in, and expectations never always seem to be very high, no matter what, no
Lakers
matter if
front
it's
office been
bad on
fucked up
both
so
ends.
long. They always blow up championship teams.
You know,
They blew Kobe shit up.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
crazy.
don't consider and I don't consider this year team a super team because if you know what a super team really is a team that have like at least some regular season success. You know, that's what you call really a super team. Like, you know, especially a team that have maybe about like three of the top 15 players on the same team. That's what I would consider a super team. But this Lakers team ain't no super team because they ain't winning. They ain't winning shit.
You know why they call them the
So
super team? Because it is the status of a few players. Just because of the status, they call it a super team. Because you had LeBron, AD, and Westbrook. Just from their status alone, they call it a super team. Then they add Melo and Howard, who
oh,
for the past few years, one coming off the bench and one struggling to get a fucking contract.
think about this: since LeBron has been with the Lakers, their two highest IQ guards have been Rondo, who's no longer with the team, who who over the past 3 years have been was with the team, left, and then back. A shell of himself when he was in prime of his career. And Caruso, who want to argue that?
That hurt.
Caruso, them be they two as high Q guards. So that's crazy.
Losing
You got
Caruso
West
hurt it.
right now. They got THT, Westbrook, and you got Monk, who he's a good shooter, but I mean it's a reason why they were able to get Monk. You know what I mean? Like
Charlotte gave up on him.
they can't run. They can't run if LeBron doesn't have the ball. They can't consistently generate no offense. People complain because LeBron won't go do other things, but like, how can you go do other things when your guard play is pedestrian? They have bad IQ. They turn the ball over. They can't, they can't consistently do anything without LeBron on the court.
Right. It's funny how I was seeing other people putting up a bunch of videos. Westbrook hit the clutch shot, save LeBron legacy and shit like that. And we heard other shit like that in the past. Why he the only player that can't have teammates score in the clutch when every other player in NBA history had teammates score in the clutch? They all professionals. It's their fucking job. What you think they on the court for? You know, it's 2 minutes left. Don't touch the ball. No, what the fuck? They supposed to score too. Just like every other team in NBA history, all other players scored, not just one player. Like I just said, even Ron Artest hit a clutch shot. Gasol, Fisher, like we said, Paxson, Kerr, Pippen. Throughout NBA history, you could go through every team and find other players besides the main star hitting clutch shots.
Even when the Lakers, they had Horry and Fisher. Fisher hit some of the most biggest shots for
Yeah,
the Lakers.
big shot ball.
Yeah, Fisher hit big shots. I watched a lot of the Laker games. Fisher would hit big shots to go on a run or to shut down another team run. If you're a Laker fan, you know what I'm talking about, MLE.
Yeah,
I
he
don't think
clutch. I know.
to, to be honest with you, I think he's hit more big shots in playoff games. I watched it even Kobe a lot of times. Or I remember, I think what was that game where it was a game where Fisher scored like 9 straight and then just closed the lead because the game would have got ugly. I don't know if it was in that Boston finals or if it was the Orlando. It's like Fisher has always been a clutch, man.
Kobe
Clutch
was
big
0
shot,
for 6 in his last go ahead buckets and tie game buckets. 0 for 6 in the clutch.
you know.
That's his last clutch record. 0 for 6. But if he missed, like if LeBron shooting, he missed, oh, he ain't got the killer instinct, he not clutch. But I just said Kobe 0 for 6 in his last clutch. But he got the killer instinct. He's clutch. But he 0 for
So,
6.
so I guess the question is, does a killer instinct matter if the clip empty? If you walk around with a gun with no bullets in the chamber, what does it matter? You're a killer.
Exactly.
You got the killer instinct. I mean, what does it matter how killer instinct if there's no bullets in the chain.
That's why I say this shit don't make sense. Even like I just said, I got in one game, Jordan missed 4 clutch shots. They went into double overtime. He missed 4 clutch shots. But he a killer though. He's
It
clutch.
always comes back to this.
But when you miss, you consider it not clutch, not killer.
Yeah. The see the real thing is the media pretty much molds people understanding the players, whether we want to act like they don't or not. The media molds how most people feel about players, and for people to act like the media has been LeBron Flynn his whole career, this narrative wouldn't be around that he's this and that if all the media liked him because most of the casual people will agree with the media. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why that don't make sense. It's no way it makes sense.
Because most of them, they just watch highlights. Down there watch the games. And then if they already don't like the nigga, it fits them. So they run with it. People don't do research and shit like that, for real.
Yeah.
They don't analyze shit.
Yeah, LeBron's the only star I've watched, basketball star I've watched that really hadn't been with an organization that had structure. And some of it later on in his career could be to his fault too, because he becomes such a imposing athlete to where you will pretty much need to do some of the things. And this goes for any great player. Great player. This happened when Jordan came back from retirement. He influenced so much stuff on teams and games because of the impact he had. To where we not saying we not being unobjective in saying LeBron don't have influence on nothing, but he definitely not making all the decisions in the organization just like Jordan wasn't able to even at his apex.
Right.
But he definitely had influence.
Every franchise player, the GM and them, they're gonna come to him and ask him questions about players like, "What you think about this player? We thinking about getting him." Because you gotta first figure out if they could fit. Do they get along? So you gotta talk to your star player before you make certain moves. They do that all the time.
Facts.
You think they don't talk to Dame Lillard about trades? Of course.
I know for sure they talked to Michael Jordan when they wanted Dennis Rodman.
Oh hell yeah. He said he called Dennis Rodman. He recruited him. Pippen ain't want him. This man led the fucking league 7 years straight in rebounds and multiple first team all defense. Even before he got to the Bulls, he was leading the league in rebounds multiple years. First team all defense.
Yeah, I've never seen nobody that the Bulls acquired kind of just, key players they added just really failed in the role they put them in. Too, we've seen that with other teams. It's definitely the LeBron teams. To be honest with you, after that first year in Miami, Wade started to digress. He started to digress year by year from the second to third to the fourth year where he was far from the way that we know him to
Yeah,
be
he pretty much
prior to
was.
LeBron coming in now, huh?
I said by that time he was damn near washed.
Yeah. And people that are watching basketball understood that, but the people want to create these narratives. They want to act like Wade was still in his prime, playing at an MVP level with LeBron.
Hey fellas, I believe if Wade was healthy when they played against the Spurs in the 2014 finals, I believe they would have won. They wasn't even supposed to beat the Pacers. If you go back and check the stats against the Pacers in the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals, Wade had averaged 13 points in that series, and what you name Paul George and Roy Hibbert had averaged over 20 points. LeBron was the only guy on the Heat on the Miami Heat's team to have averaged over 20 points, but they don't bring that up.
Shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, go back and check it out. Even in 2018, even in 2018.
Shit, I didn't know that. That's some good information.
Look at this! Look at this year now. LeBron in his 19 career still playing at a high level, and a dude that he that he pretty much advocated coming to the team and they got, who's almost 10 years younger than him, can't even stay on the floor to even play a game. You know what
Before
I
that
mean?
last before that last game they won, they were just 0 for 7 whenever LeBron don't score 50 or more.
On a super team. So LeBron got to go 50 on a super team for you to win.
Right, that's it's fucking
And that's what
crazy.
they saying. That's what people saying.
37 years old.
He got to go 50 on a super team for them to win. So even if it is a super team, like why does he need to score 50 for you to even be competitive, let alone win? Why he got to score 35 plus for them to be competitive? What he been averaging over 35 for the past 2 weeks or so, ain't it? And they still losing.
He just stat padding. That's why he's scoring
Now
35.
we move it to step. That's how it works.
That's what I'm saying. He ignored that part. Like
So he's supposed to go out there and average what, 27, his career average. And if they lose, that means what do you say then? It
they
just
want him
need
to
to go
score
play the
10 and then
game.
sit down the rest of the game so they can say
He
he
ain't
quit.
he ain't oh if he score under 25, now he ain't got the killer. So if it's 25 or under, you ain't got the killer. If you score 35, you stat pad up. If y'all lose, it's like you see it's no ground for it's a lose-lose situation. That's why I say like
Damn
argue
if you
with
do,
these
damn if you
idiots.
don't.
You know what I'm saying? Just like I was on the panel, somebody brought up, what if you find out that LeBron is using drugs? That just show you how great this dude been because
You think he owns something.
yeah, he got to be on something to be as good as he is right now. No, we don't make they didn't make this argument for Kobe
Right. Kobe scored
because he
81. He
wasn't
ain't
on
on
that. He
nothing.
didn't play at that level to make you think he on something.
Kobe dropped 60 his last game. He ain't on something.
Yeah, when he was averaging like 18, 19 the whole year on 36 with like 37% shooting from the field. That's that's like that's beyond horrible.
Jordan come back. What he dropped 50 for the Wizards when he wasn't on nothing.
But think about this: how you not a career? Think about this logic, MLE. How you not a career stat pattern if you missed the most shots than anybody in your in history, and you rank, but you only rank fourth in all time scoring. Ain't you shooting a lot of shots trying to pad your stat?
Right.
I don't know. I might be wrong. That might not be the logic behind stat padding, but it just made me think of something because it's like
Shit, if you taking that many shots,
you
you
ain't
trying
trying to
to
stat pad.
right. That's part of stat padding. And that's why I say I don't see why people say it's something wrong with stat padding when it actually ain't. They've been doing this shit forever.
You
It's
know,
only wrong when it comes to one player.
and how you stat pad if you career 50% shooter, and then all the people. Okay, LeBron is the stat padder, right? But if you look, he's played less games. He took less shots than a lot of these people that he's passing on the list. So the guy that's actually stat padding is the guy that's scoring more points and less games off less shots. Think about that.
Is a stupid
He's
nine.
the no, he's the stat padder. So what are they really telling you? They're telling you the dude is too good. That's all I could. That's how I take it indirectly. He's on drugs at 37 with no proof, with no substantial proof.
Because they
Every
don't
time,
want him to be this good.
yeah, he's averaging almost 30 in his 17th season, which is nobody's even close to that. That's that pattern. Just past, he's what 15, 1600 away from all-time leading score in less games, on less shots. That's all they telling you is the dude is just unbelievable.
Right? They're gonna call you a bronsexual now.
But everything I said was a fact, though. I didn't make up.
Exactly.
It was none of my opinion. None of my opinion. See, that's why a lot of people hate for me to come on the panel and talk because I don't have to put my opinion in it. I can just
Right.
go on what's actually happened. You know,
And if
the dude.
and if stats and if stats don't mean anything, Kobe played more years than LeBron, and LeBron already passed him in everything. So that's right there show you that I mean, how can you say that stats don't matter? and LeBron done beat Kobe in everything, even before his 20 year playing in the league. You check what you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
He
Yeah,
he passed him in scoring 3 years ago. We know that.
Who the dumbass that say stats don't matter?
I mean mostly those Kobe and Jordan fans.
That don't make sense for them to say stats don't matter, and then right after that they proceed to start stating saying stats. Kobe dropped 81. Kobe averaged this. Kobe, like all that is a stat. 6-0. That's a stat. Kobe dropped 63 against Boston and lost. But you just stated a stat in the same sentence. But stats don't matter. I don't. Jordan leading the league in steals and shit. Like he got 10 scoring titles. These still stats, accolades inside stats, stats inside accolades. Like what the? That's how they even come up with the accolades, and it don't make sense. It's mind blowing to me.
No, they're just telling you LeBron is too good to let him be. LeBron's stats are, that's all they saying is LeBron's stats are too good to compare with everybody else. So we gotta move the go. We gotta take that away. That's all they say.
See, I heard one person be like, "All right, stats don't tell you the whole story. It don't. It tell you majority of it, and the other side you watch and see what the fuck was going on. How did he get these stats? That's it's impossible to say stats don't matter when it's being recorded. It's part of the game. It's how we analyze the fucking game. How you think people get MVPs and shit?
Exactly, facts,
It's
facts.
retarded.
Right.
Because they know they're losing. They know they're losing.
MJ got 6 Finals MVPs. How you? What did they do to determine who was going to get that Finals MVP when Jordan got him? Because now you put yourself into a
Now
corner
I will
because
say that that's a valid point to say somebody got Finals MVPs. But when you start saying six chips, like chips, I mean teams win chips. I mean players
right, you
win
gotta have a
MVP.
great team.
Yeah, players win MVP. So that's one thing I say when if I want to put Jordan in the GOAT debate. Six Finals MVPs. I
Hmm.
start there because no other players done that. I think
He
Bill
got
would
the
have done
highest.
it. Bill would have had more than him if they
It
had
wasn't
the
out
award.
yet.
Yeah, that's why they named the award after him. But at this given moment, by technicality, Jordan do have more, the most.
Right.
You
He got
can't.
6, and then
Yeah,
LeBron.
yeah.
And they were so in love with Jordan. Jordan only won MVPs, regular season MVPs, just by averaging more points than any guy in the league. Like there was no efficient like score like somebody that was as efficient as Michael Jordan, especially in shooting the ball. Back in the days, like is like I don't understand. And these are the same. These dudes gonna come out here and say, "Oh, that the '90s was like the best era," when the shooting efficiency, it was
The skill
horrible.
level was way
The
different.
Exactly. These dudes back then they score more in the paint. They wasn't scoring outside or like or mid range like that and thing. I mean they shot a little bit more mid range, but it's like their mid range wasn't as efficient as like a Michael Jordan or some of the rest of the other good shooters that was in the league back in the time. But like compared to now, man, these niggas will shoot you out of the gym, Jag.
Right. And that's why I don't discredit none of that shit for real. I just bring it up because people like, oh, they take a lot of threes now. If they took threes like that back then all these players would be look, woulda, shoulda, coulda. The thing is, they had a 3 point line. They had
Yeah.
players who was great at shooting threes. Don't get
Facts,
mad
exactly.
because one team actually took advantage of it and perfected it and made other people want to copy that because they could have did that
See,
back then. Same
see
way
the
Jordan perfected the mid range and had other players trying to be Jordan.
the thing about the '90s, it was definitely talent in the '90s. It's just the way the league was structured with the expansion. It diluted the depth of teams
Right,
com, co- that were trying to compete and build going coming into the early '90s. It diluted that. But
right. No, I'm not saying
this the
that.
thing. No, no, this is the thing I'm gonna say. See, this is context. when Jordan went to that first finals in '91, if they was if that was presumably in modern time, team players would have moved around. Organizations would have traded and moved around to build a team to beat the Bulls eventually. That structure wasn't in place in the early to going in the mid '90s like it is now. We watched LeBron in '07 as a 22-year after he went to the finals his first time in his fourth season in 22. Soon as that happened, the next year what happened? Boston you know,
Right.
created the team.
And Paul
And
Pierce said he been
yeah,
was trying to create that team.
yeah. It just so happened to happen soon as LeBron was starting to, peak as a player, team movement was starting. And then better, nevertheless, after about 6 to 7 years later, LeBron decided, you know what, as a free agent, I gotta leave Cleveland because organizations are putting themselves in better position than the organization I'm with. They drafted me, my
Right.
hometown, to be successful. So I have to go. I have to leave. It wasn't the same scenario as a Jordan in the mid to late '80s.
He had a
Wasn't
better
the same
organization.
type of NBA, and people try to act like it was the same type of NBA. Players didn't. Did we have some key, franchise players move during those times? Yes, but not to the same. It wasn't the same
It
NBA.
wasn't the same magnitude.
Yeah, players began to move, and really a lot of it. You've seen a lot of it try to be executed before LeBron hit the league with Orlando, with McGrady and Duncan. It just never happened.
Yeah.
But it was being posed there to be the future though. A lot of different things. We knew it was gonna eventually be the future, but it happened under when LeBron, came into his prime, and he had to take that in consideration.
A lot of people think the Lakers drafted Shaq. They don't even know he played for Orlando.
Yeah, they don't.
Shaq said he was getting jealous of Penny. He admitted it himself. That's why the fuck he left. Because he got hurt and Penny had to do everything, and he was starting to shine. And the media start pitting them two against each other. Shaq got
Yeah,
the fuck out of there.
especially they two brands. You remember they had the commercial Reebok versus Nike.
Hmm.
A lot of that. And Penny's brand was way more popular. I was a big Penny fan. I got a lot of Penny stuff now.
Oh, he was gonna be the shits. He was the shit, but he ain't have enough time. That injury killed it.
I I don't know where Penny would have what would have been his cap, but he did definitely have a lot of potential. I think
Yeah,
people
'cause
still
they
try
was
to
calling him Magic and Michael Jordan
George.
mixed together.
Yeah, yeah, and that was
That nigga
high
do everything on the
expectations.
floor.
Yeah, it was very high expectations. I don't know if he could have lived up to that,
Right.
but look in hindsight now, because looking, I was real young at the age when I was watching it, like 10, 11, 12. But looking back, I think, you know, I don't know if Penny would have been able to live up to that.
He got injured playing against the
Yeah.
Bulls.
Because one thing about Penny was only thing about Penny was real, real small. He probably need to put on a little bit more weight.
Yeah. Nigga
You know what
dived
I'm
into his knee. It was over.
saying? Yeah.
Like when you talk about skill set, like, all right, when you got the MVP race now, it'd be a mixture of players as far as positions. You probably got a point guard, small forward, a center, a number of them in that race every fucking year. Back then, like it wasn't a lot of guards in that MVP race with Jordan. It was a lot of big men, multiple years, and then later
Yeah.
on, you had years where it was guards in there in the MVP race
It'd be a
with
sprinkle
them.
of guards, but most of the time it was power forwards and
Right.
centers.
It was a big man game,
Yeah.
and Jordan dominated because he was like a hybrid, like he was ahead of his time.
It wasn't a big depth of position players that could go position to position with him night in, night out. Now you
Right.
did a lot of people don't remember this. I don't know how you are MLE, but the players that Mike had problems with, the JR Riders who were like hybrid guards and forwards.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rod
then Glenn
Strickland.
Rice. Glenn Rice is like 6'9" and shoot like a guard. and Mitch Richmond. You know what I'm saying? These are players that, they average players in the league now. It's not to say that, and people don't get it, like in this era with Jordan probably average more points. Yeah, definitely because of the style of players, more possessions now. But a lot of this is what people don't want to talk about. Jordan would have to guard more. He would have to have more difficult
They gonna be cooking them,
defensive assignments night in, night out.
right,
But the guard play, because of the guard play.
bro? From Jordan own words, when they played against Timberwolves and shit, he said we couldn't do nothing with Stephon Marbury. This nigga could not guard Marbury. The
They
fuck you
couldn't do
think
nothing with
he'd do
Grant
trying to
Hill.
guard Curry?
Even though the Detroit wasn't as good at that time, that's why they were able to draft Grant Hill. Man, Grant Hill used to kill Scottie Pippen. Jordan to get on him a little bit here and there, but Scottie Pippen could do done with Grant Hill.
Just like he had trouble
But they,
guarding AI.
yeah,
You think
they
he
was
going?
so.
What do you think he's gonna do against Kyrie?
That's why I laugh when people think they be able to play that Warriors team because that Warriors team, like the shooting is already unreal,
Right.
especially with Durant. Like these dudes are shooting better than the video game. So how you gonna defend that? Like you got guys shooting them 45%
As soon as he
from
passed the
deep
half
three.
court, they allowed him to pull up from anywhere.
Yeah, extending
I
them.
think there was a series KD had shot 60% from three, but that was like crazy. But hey, and yeah, just imagine, yeah, for me, Jordan, people would say that Jordan would have to, he would probably average more points. I hear everybody saying, oh, he would average 40, but like he would still, for me, he would still have to come and prove it because you still got niggas like KD. KD is one of the most, in my opinion, unstoppable player, like, offensive player I ever seen, most gifted player, offensive player, and he never averaged 40. So I ain't really on that like Jordan train like that about
Yes.
oh he was gonna
Look,
average
See,
40.
the way I
Yeah.
look at it, like I don't think he would, but I ain't gonna say he wouldn't. But the reason why I say I don't think he would because it's not multiple guards like a Stockton size, a Jeff Hornacek size that's gonna be guarding them night in, night out. It's gonna be a lot of wing defenders, and then we got taller guards now, but it's gonna be a lot of wing defenders guarding him night in, night out.
I think
Yeah,
Jordan
facts.
do it.
And I looking at the zone too. I looking at the zone.
Oh
The
yeah, yeah,
zone
and his own
the
defense. He
zone
gave him his
defensive
own defense.
the zone defensive schemes that they could use against him and all of that. I looking at all of that.
He said that's part of the reason why he
Uh,
gave it up again too, because of
Jor-
that zone defense. He said that shit
Jordan
was
would
going to ruin him if it came in back in the day.
Jordan would score a lot of points, man. It's one of the reasons why he in that GOAT conversation. He would do it. He probably wouldn't be as efficient as he was in the '90s, but he would do it. He'd
Yeah,
probably
that's
be a
why I
little
say
bit
he
less,
gonna
Sure,
but
sure,
score.
sure.
It's
I
just
yeah,
agree.
it
I
won't.
agree.
but what I'm trying to get y'all to see is his impact on an era like this wouldn't be the same as the '90s because of the depth of guard and talent at guard play, and the fact that you would have to have more difficult guard assignments, and sometimes might even have to guard a forward
Right.
Facts, facts.
because that Warriors team with Durant ain't nowhere for you to rest. Either
Ain't
you
no
got Steph,
doubling either.
either you got Clay, or you got a guard Durant. Ain't no go. What
Ain't
you
no
gonna do?
doubling.
You know what
They
I'm
put that
saying?
Hampton five on the court. You can't double nobody
Yep.
because you're gonna leave a pure shooter wide open, or you're gonna leave a okay shooter wide open, or somebody that would have ability to score or make another play as soon as you try to come run to him. That's
And
what made the Warriors so unbeatable because they like to pass the ball around. Damn near every last one of them can make a play and they can pull up from any fucking way. You can't guard that.
yeah, you can't.
You gotta have
And
the same fucking team like we playing 2K to beat that.
see that what a lot of people don't realize about that Bulls team is the Bulls teams used to turn the ball over like crazy, but it wasn't no like Jordan. Jordan, one of the top people at turning the ball over in the playoff now. At the same time, you can't turn the ball over on the Warrior team like that. That's transition threes. You turn it over, you down by 15, 20 quick. It wasn't no team
Right.
like that in the '90s that would do you like. And the only thing that helped, the only kryptonite to that Warriors team was LeBron being able to get on the ball and control the pace and slow the pace of the game.
Right.
That's the only thing. And I don't think the Bulls wouldn't have been able to slow the game down, the series down like that.
You know what helped MJ and also helped him be so great? The team around him was able to do things that he didn't have to waste energy on.
Yeah.
Facts, facts.
He didn't have to guard the best player every night. He didn't have to try to out rebound people. He didn't have to go out there and score, nigga.
And that was part of the structure. That's why I
Right?
said they
He was
had,
playing in a system. Phil Jackson designed
yeah,
that shit so his star player can flourish. That's
yeah.
great coaching. So
Yeah.
if he was in an era like this and he had to chase Curry around for 48
Or
fucking
Clay
minutes,
Thomas.
what you think
Yeah,
that's
Facts,
going to do?
facts.
That's going to wear on you.
yeah. And
And
see
So every night you chasing a guard like that around, it's
the
going to be exhausted. You gonna have less
the
energy to do other things. So if he had that responsibility that he had when he ran point guard, and he had to play make and rebound and all that shit when he was trying to get that MVP, he'd be
yeah,
gassed in this league.
yep, at the pace they play now. And the thing about it, the Bulls' strategy was play defense, keep the game close, and so Jordan have enough in the tank to fit to pretty much
Go out there and
go
finish
out
this
there and
shit.
finish the fourth quarter.
Right.
It
Close the
wasn't
shit
no
out.
we need you to carry us for 3 quarters. That wasn't really their mode. It was just keep the game close. Let Jordan get his rest here and there. Keep the game close, and then Jordan finish it at the end
Right.
with
you got
15,
people.
12 points in the fourth quarter. That was their strategy, and they had the structure to do it. It wasn't a lot of well, Jordan can't rest. He can't rest because once he get off the court, it's
We
just
gonna
like it go
go
to
down
shambles,
10.
like with LeBron.
Right.
And you got people out there
That's
saying,
great
"Oh, like."
coaching.
Yeah, you got people out there saying, "Oh, like Jordan was a far greater defender than LeBron." But like, what people don't seem to realize is that when he was on the Bulls, like this man was surrounded with defensive players. Like he had defensive players all the time around him, like the Ron
He
Harpers,
had
the
Wild Rice, he had a
Dennis
Jordan Stockton on
Rodman.
the team.
Yeah, they had the Dennis Rodman, the B.J. Armstrongs, who else? The Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen back then was considered the most versatile defenders back then, and one of the most high IQ defenders in those days and thing. So obviously, Jordan going to have more. It was going to be more consistent on the defensive end than LeBron. But LeBron, if I notice, Jordan never in the defensive rating, Jordan never went like he never passed like 100. LeBron, he passed 100. So like LeBron had to
He got
me
better
had the
defensive
highest
ratings.
peak exactly. Yeah, Jordan LeBron had the highest peak on defense than Michael Jordan, and he have a better win shares than Michael Jordan in the playoffs and in the finals. Defensive win shares. And a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, LeBron don't play defense," and how much energy LeBron have to like exert when he go outside and play. And LeBron been if I notice this, LeBron been the best defender on his team for three of the championships he won in 2012, 13, and 2016. It's only one time LeBron hasn't been the best defender, and that's against in the Heat they played in the finals a couple of years ago with Anthony Davis. That's the only time LeBron ever was never the better defender on his
Right.
team.
And still in that playoff run, he had to go guard a young guy down the stretch of the game. What you call that gets hurt? They got hurt,
Jamal Murray.
and
Jamal Murray, yeah,
he guarded James Harden in the second round and first to miss out of him at 35.
And he still
So it's
led both teams in multiple categories.
yeah,
That's
he let
crazy.
him
yeah,
like
he
people that
destroyed Jamal Murray. Go
people
ahead.
that people that really understand basketball for you. I mean, I never seen a year like 2013 as far as what a player contribute to a team. When
He got robbed.
you lead a team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Then in the regular season and the playoffs, yeah, you should have won the defensive player. We know that. We don't even have to go down there.
That's
But
some wild shit. And I don't
I
see why
haven't.
people
I
try to
like.
justify it.
all in the context of winning the championship. You see what I'm saying? The
Right.
same, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because that was supposed to be a super team, but why are you having to contribute that much to production to a team for them to win a championship that's supposed to be a super team?
Dude's falling off.
Yeah, I always really think that LeBron really had a legit super team when he played. I really don't believe that. I really don't believe that.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, I get why they saying it's a super team. They're saying it's a super team because LeBron don't supposed to play with good, have good teammates.
Right.
The measurement of LeBron is unrealistic. So the people that hate LeBron really make him greater than anybody else possible to come because of the
That's why I keep
expectations
telling
they
them that.
pose on him.
Hey brothers, I'm back. I let y'all cook while I was out on the motorcycle and shit. Shout out to Ace 30, Pond 339, Roscoe, to CD. GTM, shout out to you for that donation, bro. Yeah, y'all go ahead.
Hey, South.
Hey, so sports critic. I think A30 he wanted the link.
All right, I'm about to put it in the chat now.
And look, this is what I was saying about Stockton, right? He
Yeah,
he not the type of player that he's trying to go out there and drop 30 on you, right?
yeah,
He a playmaker. He could score, and he do score. He probably drop 15, average 15, something like that.
yeah,
And he had difficulties with Stockton, but if
yeah.
Stockton not the type that's he not trying to score. You know he going to make a play like Chris Paul. This nigga really ain't trying to score. He about to make a play. Versus you dealing with a Curry or a Dame Lillard who you know is just trying to cook you and embarrass you. That should have wear that
And
man
can
down.
shoot from 28 feet back. So you got to get out there deep and guard them past the 3-point line. Yeah,
That's
extend your
why he struggled against players like Rod Strickland, Stephon Marbury, the 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 ones that was ahead of their time, as far as a guard playing the way he was playing.
See, the guard play started to really guard the hybrid guard and forward play really started to increase toward the mid 90s.
Right.
You had Penny coming to the league. Well, Penny was technically, by position technically a point guard, but he was
Mm-hmm.
high. I mean, he was the height of a small forward. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Grant Hill, who was versatile, who was a point forward at 6'8". Then you had people like J.R. Ryder, who was a shooting guard. He was like but he was 6'6", 6'7", but he was 230.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that many guards that big in the league to the mid 90s and on, where you got these dudes that's big enough to be guards and forwards, and they got the skills of a point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. And one of the things that Jordan really struggled with is bigger guards or forwards, which he didn't. Most of his career, he didn't really have to deal with a lot of.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like the way the league is now, like the league is fucking dangerous.
Yeah,
These niggas is very fucking skilled.
yeah,
Everybody trying to do everything on the floor now.
yeah.
That's a fact. Salute everybody.
What's going on, sir?
What
So
up,
yeah,
with 30?
salute critic. Salute Ghost. Salute
What's up, bro?
MLE. Man South. Everybody Bang Nation. Everybody FYF. Whoever you with. You love the game. Be respectful. Is a place to be. But like I just said, I put in the chat the average height and measurements of like each position by year, and Jordan had multiple advantages. Now, there's no disrespect to Jordan. We just keep him shit accurate. I don't do the narratives. I don't do the lazy media logic. Just go off the facts. All right. Fact is, South, what you said was right. A lot of people don't even know like Jordan was one, a risky defender. Number two, he could not guard playmaking forwards or playmaking guards. That's the primary reason why Scottie Pippen was the main defender throughout the remainder series at the game one versus the Lakers. That's the main reason why Scottie Pippen did the same thing for Mark Jackson, for Grant Hill, for Penny Hardaway. Like, it's a common trend because Scottie was the better defender. The fuck the stats. The film shows that shit. You ask a lot of these Jordan fans, they can't even describe you like what Jordan weaknesses and strengths are. You know what I mean? So it's like people think like people don't know that Jordan played a lot. When people say, and B's mentioned this before, when people say people forget Jordan and Kobe both said the guy who they most familiar with is Westbrook. A lot of people don't know majority of Kobe's and Jordan's assists came from drive and dunk, just like Westbrook. But just like Jordan and Kobe, they was risky defenders in the pass lanes, especially, just like Westbrook. So there's a lot of similarities that people just won't do their research and just simply admit that these guys aren't as perfect as advertised. You know what I mean? Like, and at the same point, like
Facts, bro. Facts.
they don't even have the same criteria. I was going back and forth with most of my niggas. I'm like, bro, I don't understand this shit. What can we use? Like, in regards to like, we can't, y'all, either we do competition, we don't want to use competition. Like, oh, he faced more 60-win teams, but LeBron faced just as many 50-win teams, more 70-win teams, and more Hall of Famers and All-Stars. Oh, we can't do competition. Okay, cool. All right, so we want to do championships, but championships are a team accomplishment. All right, cool. We can't do like this. All this goalpost moving.
We can do championships, but we can't talk about Bill Russell.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like all this goalpost movement. All I ask from people, like, bro, I don't give a fuck who you got. I don't care how you do with certain players, whatever. But are you emotionally disciplined enough to at least have a criteria?
Yeah.
Like I was noticed this like I only been watching basketball for like 2 decades now, right? Ain't as much as some people on this panel, but like it's still a lot, right? I never seen a player when you describe his greatness comes with like either an asterisk or put another player down when people try to talk about LeBron. I never seen that shit before. Like it's advertised at this.
This the thing, Sturdy. You can continue to cook. LeBron is the only athlete I know. I said this earlier. I don't know how long you've been watching. He's the only athlete we know that longevity is a bad thing for. Who else have you heard they make an argument that longevity is bad for them to be good for a long
shit
time?
I've heard, bro. Like this nigga's so great. Like that's what it is, Sal. You know how great players they do something so exceptional that they raise the standard of it. You know what I mean? It's the same effect to like Russell Westbrook. Like because Russell Westbrook did it so consistently, now it's kind of watered down. So because LeBron is being this level of production this late in his career for this extended amount, now he's raising the level of expectations. You know what I mean?
Sturdy, how's longevity a good thing for Kobe playing with the Lakers 20 years, but it's a bad thing for LeBron to be in the 19-year playing at a high level? It was great for Dirk to play 20 years with one team, but it's okay that Jordan didn't play for the Bulls his whole career. It's okay. And it's okay that Kareem didn't play for the Bucks his whole career.
Joe was just trying to own the team, and he was old. That's the excuse. Yeah. Like he's not competitive, and he didn't want to win.
It was.
Hey, bro, it's like a nigga who got to lie about a broad that he loved to, you know, he got to lie about the broad to you know, to make his homies feel the same way, to make his homies feel comfortable. Oh, she's just a great, you know.
Yeah.
They got to exaggerate the broad, put her up as this and that, and instead of just keeping it real, you know, they got to come with the fake narratives, the fake perfect records.
See, if LeBron wasn't so great, it would be no reason to do all this. That just lets you know, like, if he was just a decent, you know, borderline Hall of Fame player, nobody would care. But every year he's surpassing, doing things that's never been done. It's like he's making history every time he step on his court, and it just make the people hate him even more. And you have to come up with more illogical, irrational points to make. just gotta keep coming up with something because he keep making them do. It's like he every time he step out there and break another record and do this to combat it, you gotta be more illogical. You gotta be more rational.
This is the crazy thing about them. They say this band ain't great here, bum, role play, all this other shit. But every year, every day, every night, y'all watch every game, click every video, talk about them every fucking day, all day, every year. I'm not gonna talk about a bum every fucking day.
No.
That's stupid. I'm not gonna do that. And I'll be telling them, y'all make the man seem even greater than what he is because look at all the greats. Y'all hold LeBron to different standards. He's not held to the same standards that y'all held every other NBA great to.
They
So
put
if
up
he held to a
accolades
separate
on.
higher
They put up.
standard, wouldn't that make
See,
him
they put
greater?
up accolades on these players that MJ and Kobe. They put all these accolades. They put shit on them that niggas can look up and debunk the shit being true or not.
Right? They be acting like, all right, this nigga got to win all 82 games and can't find one player or one team in NBA history that won 82 games. But he
Hey,
supposed to
sir,
win every night.
say this is what's weird. You know, a lot of these, talking positions, even Kobe is built on the archetype of what Jordan career was, right? And most people that talk about that are big Kobe fans and Jordan fans, they talk about all they really talk about is scoring. They don't really talk about a lot of other stuff. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
talk even I'm talking about Sturdy because you talk to people like Big Dip. All he
Yo,
really talk about is
you was
scoring.
on point with that, South. You was on point with that shit, man.
All he
I ask
really
him that
talk
shit all
about
the
is
time.
scoring. But think about this. You had Will Chamberlain, his first 7, 8 years, he averaged damn near 40 points. Maybe a fraction under 40 points. But we don't say his stuff. We don't say because Jordan scored average more points longer than him that Jordan's career was longevity because he averaged more points. A high
Facts.
point per game's longer because we know Wilt started to decline and it could have been due to the era and the technology where athletes decline faster. Nobody care about that. All they care about is not being objective, not keeping it, objective across the line. They just want to create caveats for their argument and move it and move and move and move the goalposts. Keep moving it as
Hey,
if everybody's ignorant.
Sturdy, you had just brought up the competition shit, right? They don't want to talk about competition. Competition don't matters until, like you just brought up Wilt or Kareem or Bill Russell, and they be like, well, a lot of little players, it wasn't a lot of black athletes and stuff like they start diminishing his competition, but they
Yeah.
won't analyze Jordan's competition. They do it all the time. Bill Russell got 11 chips. Man, it was only like 8 teams though. It wasn't a lot of players his height. But wasn't that the same situation with Jordan? They be contradicting themselves.
Yeah, that's all I ask is just consistency, bro. Like at least like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna like Elder, like I'm not gonna lie, like at least he's upfront by his bias. At least if you're gonna be biased, be upfront about it.
Yeah,
Like Elder's
you
just
keep it
like,
100.
you know what I'm saying? Like he's like, nah, I just can't rate Kobe. I just can't rate LeBron over Kobe. I'm like, all right, cool. That's actually cool. You at least upfront about it. But these other dudes it just layers and layers on top of like hypocrisy, emotional connection, like fake narratives. I don't know. I don't understand it. And it's like, and the point, majority of them, like I said before, like it's pretty ignorant. Be honest with you. Like I keep asking once again, I keep asking like these Jordan fans, like, can you describe how Jordan played?
Most
They
of them
won't be able
can't.
to break his game down.
Yeah,
Um,
most of them can't.
I asked him multiple times, okay, how does the triangle offense benefit Jordan? One dude just said he still scored, he still played defense. I was like, what?
I got a homeboy. He admits he hate LeBron. He just hate the nigga. He told me, he said LeBron shouldn't be playing with any other great players. He's already a super team by himself. It's my homeboy. We argue about this shit all the time.
See?
That's
Man, he assist the team by himself. He don't need
Hey,
to
bro,
playing
because
with
Didn't
Chris
I
niggas
just
Paul.
say that?
think because niggas think that the NBA is a Sega Genesis game.
Yep.
So they acknowledge
That,
how great he
nah.
is.
To be fair
Chris,
to your whole boy, like that's low key the close. LeBron's a close thing to it. I'm not gonna lie in sports,
nah,
like
Sturdy.
he's the ultimate
Critic,
floor racer. Like
critic said
that
something
shit.
important. He might have said something more important than what we've been talking about. A lot of the cats that we talk about now, because a lot of us, like I'm in my late 30s. Critic, he in his early 40s, so we close to the same age. We grew up in the video game era, so a lot of these cats, they see the scope of sports through video games, and they think the shit is a direct correlation. No, a
Mhm.
video game is not real sports. And he said this earlier too, because I was listening. A lot of these cats ain't played no real sports, so they've been playing video games their whole life, and that sculpted their whole reality of what greatness is in a sport based on their experience playing video games and the media, the shit they hear in the media.
LeBron
They,
said that in the finals before. He said, "Y'all guys act like it's a video game, and I gotta dunk the ball every possession. Fatigue is off. I don't get tired." He
yep.
like he said the same shit, and that's real. Like this man playing 47 fucking minutes, and you think he ain't gassed?
Man, fuck that. He played over 50,000 minutes, nigga. Like it's just only
Yeah,
3
yeah.
niggas in NBA history.
I'm saying like in that one game, this nigga probably had to stay on the court for 47 minutes.
And
I mean
game
minutes in the game.
MLE, I don't know if you paid attention in that game 7 against the Warriors in 2016. LeBron, I think he sat down maybe 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. That was the first half. The second half, the nigga did not go to the bench. Kyrie and the Kyrie, I think it was either at the end of the third or the start of the fourth, he went and took a rest. Down the stretch of that game 6, bro, he was running on fumes to go chase that block down. LeBron didn't rest the whole second half. The nigga was, bro. I'm sitting here paying attention to this because I don't play sports, and I'm watching the game. I'm like, and I had like I had over $700 on that series, so niggas was on my head when they were down 3-1. So I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, this nigga haven't rested the whole second half in the most important game in the playoff. I'm like, then that's when he started to control the pace so he could rest and do a
Right.
lot of little shit. So you having to control the pace of the game, you having to facilitate score, make all the key defensive plays on your team. But since you didn't hit the last shot, you shouldn't be the MVP, even though you led the whole series in 5 major statistic categories. And you got Negroes really trying to tell you he shouldn't have been the MVP. That's
And
how
this
absurd the shit is.
this why I fuck with Ty Lue. You watched that 2016 documentary, right? Show what they was doing in the behind the scenes and shit. Say Ty Lue go in there at halftime. LeBron got like 20 something at the half or something, and he tell LeBron, "You ain't doing enough. I need to see more out you." And everybody say like they looking around like this nigga got 20 something at the half. What do you mean he ain't doing enough? So LeBron got mad, went out there and just went off. That was motivation by the coach. Like that shit was a good psychological game. He an
It's a
underrated
reason why he
coach,
wanted Tyloo to be his coach.
right?
Yeah.
Because
He
Yeah.
Tyloo
challenged.
probably the only coach that didn't that would challenge him where another other coach would. That ain't to say that other coaches are not good coaches, but
To different
Tyloo
levels.
is willing to say shit that most coaches are not comfortable saying to LeBron at this point of his career.
Yeah. Great players want to be coached. You just got to challenge them.
That's why I wanted that nigga to go to the Spurs.
Frank Vogel sound like a fan, man. Like he's like, yo, I'm playing with LeBron. I'm
But
coaching LeBron.
yeah, I think the thing about Tyronn Lewis, he's not afraid of being wrong, making a bad coaching decision. That's what helps him be
He
able
take
to,
risks.
yeah, to coach LeBron. Because coaches like Vogel and these other coaches, they trying so bad not to make a bad decision to where they actually are making bad decisions.
Them niggas
You
ain't
know,
responding to him. That's why I said
yeah.
they should have been got rid of him last year. I seen it last year. Them players is not responding to him. How you a defensive minded coach and your niggas don't play defense?
I don't. You know what? I'm not gonna say. I think, but I think Vogel been in a bad situation still. I didn't say that to say Vogel's a bad coach. If you look, last year they were a defensive team. They had more defensive guys. Now you bringing all these other guys.
Yeah, they
The
was
thing
tough. They
about
was
the
still
the
number one
Lakers,
in defense last year.
The
Yeah,
Lakers have terrible. Their guard play is horrible.
yeah. I'm not
And the
saying he's a bad
IQ,
coach. He's a
the
good coach
IQ in the
because he's a
guard play
defensive
is
coach.
terrible. And this year they don't even have no. They don't have no front court. They don't have no solid front court or back court. It's just a summer league team out there with LeBron.
But I'm saying you don't see the effort
You
from
got
these
to
niggas. That's
watch,
what I'm talking about.
and you got to
Like,
diminish. You got an injured, supposedly young superstar supposed to be in his prime not playing, and then you got uh, a declining all star in Westbrook who has no IQ. Like that's I really can't say too much to Vogel because okay, you traded off a lot of his grit perimeter defensive players that he had from KCP and even Caruso, solid young player. And you THT, we know he don't play no defense. Westbrook been horrible defensively. You
yeah,
brought in they brought
I'm,
in an older guy like what's his name? Ariza back hurt. He don't even play no more.
they
What
shouldn't
happened?
even sign that nigga.
You know what I'm saying? He's 38 years old. I mean, like,
I'm just saying, like, as a GM, I'm not even saying, oh, it's your fault. But me looking at the situation, them niggas not even giving an effort. They not responding to you. It ain't like he not trying to push them niggas to go out there and play D. Pretty sure he is. He supposed to. It's his job. But they
really,
not responding. So now I
really,
gotta get somebody they're gonna respond to.
this is what's going on. The Lakers are being ran kind of like how my Cowboys have been ran over the past. They had no structure. They had no structure, and when you don't have no structure, that means the pecking order of leadership is normally compromised. And you know, one of the last orders of leadership is the coach before you get to leadership of players. So
Yep.
Vogel hasn't had a lot of say so in the roster personnel, and he's been kind of forced to coach the roster as it's presented, not
His
with
hands was
his
tied since
own.
day one.
Yeah,
You shouldn't have to go to the front office to ask to bench a player.
yeah, and that's probably one reason they didn't want to bring in Tyronn Lue, because I don't think like Tyronn Lue is a go along, get along guy where
They wouldn't
he's
let
just
that
not
man
going.
pick his own coaching staff.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna go along to get along to make him look bad if things don't pan out because he didn't have any say in his staff and then
Right.
even the direction of players.
So you basically
Before.
saying you're gonna make me
Yeah.
the head coach and put players, other coaches around me that I probably don't even fucking know or had no chemistry with, and want me to make it work instead of letting me bring motherfuckers who I know I can get it done with, and get on the floor and make something happen. You trying to
And it
force me to do some other shit.
That's some
and I
James Brown shit.
I feel like it really was a baited switch with Magic, meaning they used Magic to hopefully seal the deal on LeBron coming, and then they weren't gonna fire Magic, but they were gonna do some things to Magic to make him want to step down, and I think they executed that.
I think they wanted J Kidd to be the head coach, but because of shit in his past, like legal situations and shit, you could I doubt that you could really have him as your face of the Lakers, a franchise like that. And they probably was going to try to stab Vogel in the back to make that excuse to put J Kidd in the head coach, but they want a ring, so you can't fire him now and give Kidd a job. And then Kidd wound up getting out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like it's trash.
yeah. When you
That
look
front
at the
office been terrible though,
yeah,
like for many, many years. Like Rand just run this shit. And
yeah,
people talking about LeBron run the Lakers and all that. You know how many times Rand has told this nigga no about players? We'd have
He
been
didn't
had
really have
Melo. We've been trying to get
like that's
Melo.
the thing, bro. Like just to be completely objective, like LeBron, you look at the guys in the top 10 all time, like LeBron didn't have consistent help for 4 plus years. Like he didn't have honestly 2 plus years. Like he didn't have a player next to him that gave him consistent production for at least 3 straight seasons. He never had that.
Out of the consistent top 10 players of all time in the rankings and most people lists, there's only 4 players in that top 10 that played on the same team together. Kareem and Magic, Kobe and Shaq.
yeah.
Top 10.
The closest thing the organizational structure Brian had was the Miami Heat, and even with the Miami Heat, his production still remained concurrent throughout his career with him doing a
They
lot
didn't
of
do
things
too
he done
much.
with our organizations for them to win. That's why it's not a really viable point to talk about super teams when the guy's still producing at the same level with any said team.
And you know what? Another stupid thing I be hearing these Jordan fans say. When somebody tell them like, "Oh, Jordan never won without Pippen," and Jordan said without Pippen he wouldn't have no championships. They be like, "Well, LeBron, he wouldn't have a championship. He never won without Wade, Bosh, Kyrie."
Start listing all kinds of niggas.
They name a whole fucking
See,
roster.
yeah, LeBron don't have to say nothing like that because he's won. He's won with different franchises, different set of teammates, different coaches. He would never have to say that.
That's
Right? It's
impressive
so
to me,
stupid
man.
when they
Like
say it. Like, yo, you just
that's
named a whole
impressive to me.
roster.
Like in any sport, you examine any other team sport, and even basketball as well. Look at the franchises that won um three or fuck it, two or more championships. They had a consistent structure or player. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
LeBron
right.
is the only one that's that. You know what I'm saying? He did it in three different franchises, and two of them had losing cultures.
Yep.
Right. I wanted to see this nigga play in the pop system. Greg, if he went to the Spurs, I would want to see how he played in that system because that's
The
a
thing,
great coach and that's
the,
something he ain't never had.
the thing is with Pop, right? In terms of Pop, LeBron will have to both LeBron and Pop is gonna have to come to understanding of like, okay, how much usage he's gonna have. That's the thing. Like, granted, Greg Popovich never had a player like LeBron, but like LeBron never played in a system that's that ball movement oriented. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
the only time in the Pop system ever where it was like even close to being stagnant was when they was going inside out with Towers. You know what I mean? So it was like besides that, it was always constant ball movement on that Spurs team. So I'm not saying LeBron would be productive, but I don't think he would definitely not be axed, especially you see how the Spurs as an organization they are and getting key role players for certain jobs and tasks for the team. You know what I mean? So he wouldn't be asked to like lead the team in 4 to 5 statistical categories. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think I'm not saying he won't be great, but I don't think he will get the same. We won't see the same level of production.
You know what happened? You know what
People
I think
just switch
happened?
up the Spurs. People forget the Spurs.
I think he'll win more.
Yeah, he would have won more, but I'm saying people forget the Spurs started the low management culture type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they now I'm saying like I don't think we'll see the same. I think we'll still see the same level of dominance, but not the same type of production.
Him having to do everything.
Yeah. You know what happened? LeBron would probably fuck around and be 60% from so efficient and something like that to where he might average 25 or 30 off 60% shooting because every shot in the system is so efficient and put him in positions to where he's at his advantage, getting
He bring more
downhill
energy.
and getting higher percentage shots. Because think about it, LeBron. One of the things I do hate a lot about LeBron is LeBron will shoot a lot of maybe it could be due to him being tired and a lot of different things. He would shot a lot. He even with him
Ill
being so
advised.
efficient, he throw in about 4 to 5 inefficient shots in a game, and it'd be a lot less of that with Pop or another great coach to where this dude might be 30 game off 60% shooting,
And he wouldn't have a lot of contested shots. Like,
and a lot more shots in the paint, a lot less threes.
right. Pop gonna put the people around him to do all the other shit that he doing now to take that load off of him and have more energy. You ain't gotta go out there and try to out rebound everybody. He gonna have him in the system with the players that he need to take care of that.
But you gotta remember, the Spurs always had shooters that could space the court. They wasn't an organization that like LeBron done played a lot of organization where they tied a lot of foolish stuff. Like even that first year with the Lakers. How do you got all these point guards and no shooting around LeBron?
Yeah, that was
You know
stupid.
what I'm saying? So a lot
They
of
said
his
that was a super team.
yeah, a lot of his assists, I think his assists will go down, but his points and rebounds, like this year, LeBron, but more or less it would be the numbers I think of a non-system. I mean, LeBron in a system where his rebounds are higher and his points, and his field goal percentage. If you remember in 2013, he was like was he 56, 57% from the field?
56, 57, yeah. I'm gonna say
That's
57.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's 56.5, but fuck it. round up.
Yeah, I think he had
40%,
yeah.
40% from three.
40% from three. That shit crazy, man.
That
That's
nigga
why
flying off ball.
I'm not gonna lie, man. It's like I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry to bring this nigga up, but like I don't understand the comparison between him and Kobe. It's like this shit is pure comical. Like I don't see the case at
We
all.
need to start doing
Just
Steph
fan
versus
shit.
it. We need to start doing Steph versus Kobe soon.
I used to do it though. I used to do
Yo,
that shit. Same
Steph,
shit they
that's the
doing.
thing. Steph gets another ring. He might be better than Kobe. He might be better.
You go
See,
first. Yeah.
I don't compare them two because like they got different responsibilities throughout their whole career. So it's hard to compare a dude that's coming off the bench.
Here's
His
the
bench years, his
yeah.
years playing as a sidekick, like Curry.
It's not even that part, MLE. It's like people just won't admit, like, I really thought about this. Y'all can think about this too. Yeah, has Kobe ever had a top 10 playoff run?
No.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
did bring that up. I can't think of none.
All right. So and think about this, be objective about this. Has he ever had a top 10 regular season of all time?
Probably.
I guess the only argument you could give up when he averaged 35.
All right, hold on. Let's run the list
Oh,
down. Let's run the list down. It's not better than Jordan's 87 season, not better than Steph's 16 seasons, not better than LeBron's 13 season, it's not better than I think
Better than Jay Harden 36 and what 8?
it's not better than James Harden's MVP 36 season either. It's not better than Wilt's, it's not better than Wilt's, Elgin Baylor, or what's that other third month?
And why you doing
or
this?
Oscar Robertson 1962 season. I'm already at 7.
You ain't right, man. You ain't right.
What you mean? I'm at 7.
You at 7? What's the other ones?
All right, then it's not better than Giannis's 2019 MVP. It's not better than LeBron's 2009 MVP, and it's not better than he didn't have a better regular season than. I'm be nasty with this one. I got options.
About to say Steve
You can do
Nash.
Bird's 84. You do Magic's 87. You do Hakeem's 94. I'm going Hakeem's 94. Let's go with that one. Let's go with that one.
MVP Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep, let's go with that one. I could have get Duncan's 03. Like I had so many fucking options.
See, like out of 6 of them, I agree. The other ones I would have to check, but that's a hell of an argument.
That's what I'm saying, man. So forget the comparison. Like when people say Kobe's top 5, I'm like, I get the emotion. I get it. Like it's only emotional.
It's just really standing his favorite player.
Yeah, like the
I look at their resume too, though.
No, his resume is top 10 elite. The problem is with Kobe, his impact and his peak don't compare to the other top 10.
I'm talking about Curry's.
Curry's do.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm comparing just a resume, like MVPs and still leading the league in steals and shit like that, and everything else that comes along with it. That's a good comparison as far as comparing their resumes, and it's kind of hard to compare one MVP to 2, especially a unanimous MVP.
Okay, even when we take away Steph's one of Steph's MVPs, he still had a better MVP. Nothing Kobe did in his career matched that 2016 regular season.
So they had a unanimous MVP.
It's not even that, bro. He had he led the league in scoring, shooting 50, 40, 90. Right. Insane, my nigga. Like I remember there was like 5 games into that season where they was up by like 30 in the third quarter.
MLE, outside of the name and who you play for, how you a top 5 player when you only been nominated for 3 combined MVPs in your career?
I know. I get killed all the time.
1 in the regular season, 2 in the final. You see what I'm saying? That's really what it comes down to.
It's hard for me to actually keep them in the top 10.
Hey, brothers, y'all cooking, but this my time. I gotta cut it. And I appreciate all y'all for coming through, man. Everybody came through on the panel, came to kick it with me. Everybody in the chat. Y'all know Bang gonna be live later on. Y'all know we gonna go and kick it with him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody for coming through. I'm gonna throw another jam maybe later on today or tomorrow.
All right, y'all brothers be
All
safe.
right.
Appreciate you,
All right,
brother.
y'all.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all for coming
Appreciate it.
through
All right, critic.
for sure.
All right, y'all brothers be safe.